Good morning, everybody. It's Eugene.
And Anne-Marie.
And we are here today with Halfway Fully Caffeinated episode. Can you guess it? Starts with a 3 and a 1.
You're wrong.
31.
We're there? What happened to the 20s?
The good old days.
The good old days.
The 20s blew on by.
Yeah, okay.
So if you're just joining us now, this is a podcast that we film half awake. And we're working on getting caffeinated. And we answer questions about things. 2 coffee questions, 2 non-coffee questions. If you enjoy what we're doing, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe. And if you don't enjoy it, it's cool. You know, leave a message. I don't know. Send us a comment. We're open to feedback.
We're here.
We're
here
you.
For it.
Maybe not for you, but we're here.
Yeah.
But today's topics, my coffee question was instant coffee. How it do?
Howdy do.
Howdy do. Then
My coffee question was anti-nutrients in coffee.
yeah, which is fucking nuts. I think about that every day since I heard about it. And then my non-coffee question is Guy Fawkes. He's showing up really late. It's going to be quite a bit past November 5th. However, it's still important for us to know because I feel like at this point in time in our existence, in our history,
Might be good to learn about it.
It might be good to know about these things because misinformation can happen, even in the medieval ages. Medieval ages? Not medieval. How long ago? Oh,
off the top of my head, I couldn't tell you, but definitely not medieval.
It was like pretty like it was 1605.
Okay.
So medieval adjacent.
Okay.
Yeah.
My non-coffee question is airports. How do you do that?
Like why are airports
Why are airports?
the way they are? So who want to go first? Who want first?
What do you want to learn about first?
I want to learn about.
Anti-nutrients.
No, let's do the airports first because I think this is important for everyone that's planning on traveling. Just think about where you're going to be laying over.
Okay.
Or I don't know. Fuck. I don't know what research you had. So.
It is a combination. I tried doing because you kind of asked 2 questions. You said like how to get through the airport during travel season, and then the psychology of airports.
Yeah, go ahead.
And I'll just start a timer for 4 minutes. Look at that. Okay, airports. So I don't know if it's just because I have been to airports more than once, but I'm like, all of the research I did, I'm like, well, yeah.
So mostly safety stuff.
Yeah, there was no like obvious things. There's like plan ahead, make sure you check in or get there early. You can check in ahead of time, check weather, check delays, all of that fun stuff.
Oh, that you're talking about how to get through the airport part. Okay.
Yeah. And then there's okay, so my friends, well, sometimes they always ask when I ask them to drop me off at the airport, they're like, which gate are you at? And when I'm traveling 9 times out of 10, unless it's like internationally, I just have a carry-on. I don't have a check-in. And so like I don't need a gate. Just drop me off at the.
Well, I think it's probably because you've been flying out of places like Salt Lake, and then what else? What was the most recent place you flew out of? It was South Carolina.
South Carolina, yeah.
Yeah. How big is that airport?
Tiny.
Okay, and then what's the biggest airport you think you've been at?
I don't know. I've been to the.
Sorry, to like be dropped off at.
To be dropped off at. Salt Lake or Manchester.
Okay, I would say you definitely need to know the gate in places like Los Angeles, Chicago.
Even if you're just doing a carry-on?
Dude, if you're not at the right gate and like you're planning and you only plan an hour ahead at Los Angeles, you are more than likely going to miss your flight.
But how? Because you don't get to your gate until after you go through TSA.
The terminals
Yeah.
So they're asking the terminals. When they ask you what gate it is, they're asking you what terminal you're at.
And yeah, okay.
All right.
Well then, yeah, well that's different. The gate and the terminal is a different thing.
But they know who's flying because of the
yeah. Anyway.
Yeah. Well, we're there.
We're there. Okay. Let me get into the psychology because we only have a minute left because you wasted my time.
I just had questions.
The psychology of airports is really there was no fascinating things. It was like they can be really stressful and busy, so be prepared for that. And there's lots of signs telling you where to go, so don't worry.
A lot of them are easy to miss.
And don't worry, you can always ask for help.
In Chicago O'Hare, you can expect that like most of the bathrooms are just gonna be closed, and then the like one unisex family bathroom where you can actually go change your baby there. Yeah, someone's gonna be using it.
Yeah. Yeah, airport bathrooms. Stay hydrated. That's a tip. Another tip. Bring snacks. I always feel like you can't bring food through security, which is not the case.
It's a common misconception, but you can literally just wrap something in saran wrap and like walk in with it.
You could bring a whole turkey if you wanted.
You could. No one's gonna stop you.
No one's gonna stop you.
The only thing that's gonna make it harder is that you have to carry a whole turkey in.
Yeah, and that's taking up a lot of space.
See, I had a feeling this is what airports were, and it's like they're a creation of necessity, at least in my opinion, where it's like they're like, oh well, we have to do this, and then you look at the things that go on at like the Salt Lake Airport. It's like, okay, they planned this, but they planned it because there's like constraints. Like there were a lot of constraints that required you to build this airport this way versus how did you approach this like to use the constraints.
Yeah. Basically, airports suck and they should all die. But they're
We're
very
using
useful.
very careful terminology so she doesn't get put on the TSA watch list.
I hate flying, and I don't hate flying. I hate airports. The second I'm on the plane, I'm mostly fine, other than the fact that I can barely fit in the seats.
Yeah.
But airports, my own personal hell.
Yeah. My single hack for traveling is be nice to the people that are either in TSA or that are, working the flight, because usually at the end of the day they'll take care of you, versus if you're a total dick, they might take care of you, but they're not going to go out of their way to do anything more than taking care of you. So we're on non-coffee, so I'll do Guy Fawkes. All right, so those of you who do know who Guy Fawkes is, I'm going to bore you with the explanation of Guy Fawkes, but those of you who don't know who Guy Fawkes is, he is a very popular he's very popular with anti-government individuals. He's a pop culture icon, kind of, with the mask. He's got like the mustache, it's white, that kind of stuff. He was played by the guy that's Elrond in Lord of the Rings in a movie that came out in like 2004? What?
This is fascinating here.
It's a long time ago. It's a movie called V for Vendetta. But this is how I know him. You probably learned about him in
a very different way.
Because here in America, we sensationalize a lot of things. But Guy Fawkes was neither the leader of a group that attempted to assassinate King James I, but he was the most prominent individual in the group. And he was part of something called the Gunpowder Plot, which was an attempt by a group of English Catholics, that's the important part, Catholics, to blow up the House of Lords and kill King James I, ending Protestant rule in England and replacing it with a Catholic king. The plan was to ignite a massive gunpowder cache underneath the Parliament on November 5th of 1605. Guy Fawkes, also known as Guido Fawkes, which, I don't know, was not the leader, but he was the most famous.
Wasn't he French?
I have no idea. Maybe. He sounds French. Guido sounds actually Spanish. But he was the most famous due to the execution phase of the plan. He was responsible for actually guarding the explosives, and he was captured the night before the explosion during a routine search of the cellars beneath the Parliament building. His arrest, he was arrested, tortured, interrogated, and eventually him and his co-conspirators were tried, executed, and made pariahs. And there's conspiracies.
Yeah.
Of course, of what actually happened here. And I mean, if you think about it, how easy is it to kill a king and put somebody in power?
Super easy.
As a group that got caught. I'm just kidding. Anyways, so one of the most enduring conspiracy theories is that the gunpowder plot was actually orchestrated by people in the government so that they could create anti-Catholic sentiment so that King James could go ahead and put harsher measures against Catholics in the country and consolidate his power by rallying the public against a perceived Catholic threat. So, you can make things work out in your favor by doing such things. Other conspiracy theories is that there was to support this conspiracy theory, there was an individual by the name of Francis Tresham. And he is one of the conspirators that worked with Guido. And Guido and Francis...
Call him Guy.
No. Now that I know his name was also Guido.
You want it? Okay.
Am I ruining this for you?
No, you're doing a great job.
People speculate that Francis Tresham was involved with the threat because he knew people in the House of Lords and whatnot, and he was like, "Hey, man, like maybe don't go to the House of Lords tomorrow."
Okay.
And they speculate that he was an active government informant because of this. Evidence is inconclusive. Motivations of the plotters. There's debate about the true motivations as well. While religious freedom was a major factor, some theories suggest that there was just personal grievances. Like they were like, "Fuck the king. He fucked me over. Took me taxes," or something like that. And then there was exaggeration of the plot. Some people think that it was actually not nearly as like cool as it is. But if you put gunpowder underneath a building, there's a very good chance that it's pretty dastardly.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then Guy Fawkes Day is celebrated in the UK November 5th. It's called Bonfire Night. And why don't you tell us about it? Because you're from there. You sound like you're from London.
Bonfire Night. I love Bonfire Night.
Where you burn effigies of Guy Fawkes.
Yeah, we burn the celebrations that I went to were held by my school. And it would be all of the younger kids that would make the Guy Fawkes effigy. So they would get, like, he would have sometimes like a balloon head or like a little soccer ball head or something like that. We'd draw his face, we'd dress him up. And then they would build a massive bonfire. And so when I first moved to America, people were like, "We're having a bonfire," and it was like literally like a fire pit. I'm
so distraught,
so disappointed every single time because these bonfires are like.
Well, it's because you've never been to a Midwest bonfire.
I guess not.
They burn pallets and then they put gasoline canisters in the middle of the pallets. And when I say pallets, I mean like 45 of those pallets outside.
That's what they're like. They're like fucking massive.
Really bad for the environment.
And
pallets
then
have chemicals in them.
Oh, very good, very good. And there's
food.
Yes, there's food. There's like caramel apples. It's kind of like a second Halloween in a way.
Because everyone wears the mask.
No, not a single person wears the mask.
Lame. Then the movie sucks.
Yeah, I know. When you started talking about the movie to explain Guy Fawkes, I'm like, no.
Well, I explained who he was in the context of the UK.
There's fireworks. And it's just really fun. It's like
religious suppression is fun.
Super fun, you guys.
It's better to have fun when you're suppressing others. I'm just kidding.
But yeah, massive bonfire, lots of food, lots of drinks, and you just like hang out outside.
It's such a strange thing to even be celebrating it when it's like they attempted to murder the king, and it's like the king's like, you know what? We're gonna celebrate this day. We're gonna celebrate Guy Fawkes Day. We're gonna celebrate their attempt.
Yeah.
Because they fucking sucked and got caught.
They sucked at it. Yeah.
All right. Well, cool. All right, we should get on, move along. Hit the road, Jack.
Okay, anti-nutrients in coffee.
Oh God, I'm excited.
So, anti-nutrients are naturally occurring compounds found in like a bunch of plant-based foods.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
Specifically or particularly legumes, grains, nuts, and seeds.
What the fuck?
Yeah. They're found in like a lot of things.
What? All right.
They're not necessarily harmful. It sounds like they would be because they're like anti-nutrients, but
you put something anti in front of
and
it.
And you're like, it's not. It's more of their. They reduce the bioavailability of important like vitamins and minerals. So like you can't. It just reduces your ability to absorb all of the vitamins and minerals.
Interesting.
In some foods. Not all anti-nutrients are bad. Some of them have protective and beneficial effects.
Oh, interesting.
They help defend against pests and diseases and things like that. They can also serve as antioxidants.
Huh.
Yeah. Let's see. Okay, there's a bunch of different kinds of anti-nutrients, and by a bunch I mean there's 4 listed right here in front of me. They're called phytates, oxalates, lectins, and tannins.
Of course.
Yeah, so tannins are an anti-nutrient. And essentially tannins found in coffee, tea, some fruit. We'll stick with tannins for right now because that's the anti-nutrients in coffee. It can inhibit the absorption of iron, particularly non-heme iron, which is the type of iron found in like plant-based food and beverages. It seems that it only really interferes with tannin. So the thing that I said last time where it was like, when should
tannins or iron?
Tannins.
Iron interferes with?
Tannins interfere with the absorption of iron.
That's it?
That's it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. And so with the thing that I was talking about last time where I think it was during Thanksgiving dinner, it was like when to eat or drink coffee during Thanksgiving dinner. And it's like, ooh, don't do it because of anti-nutrients. It was kind of bullshit.
Fear-mongering.
Very much fear-mongering.
Misinformation. You know what? I can't wait for somebody to post on Reels. It's like, did you know that coffee's an anti-nutrient?
It's an anti-nutrient? It's actually terrible for you.
It's terrible for you. It inhibits the absorption of iron.
Yeah.
How long does the inhibition last for? I answered my question. For somebody with iron deficiencies.
I feel like...
Somebody?
Somebody who?
You have iron deficiency?
You know, I did not look into how long it inhibits it, but I imagine it inhibits it for as long as it's in your system.
So then a good question is it in your system as long as caffeine is, or does it just like...
I am going to boldly say... Oh, I just spat everywhere.
I spat everywhere.
I'm going to boldly say no.
Okay. All right. Well, we'll find out.
We will find out.
Actually, you know what? That's a follow-up question. We're just going to look into how long it lasts.
Yeah. But it's essentially like... You're never going to be getting the full absorption of all of the like vitamins and nutrients that you get in your food. Like,
oh my god! You just hit a whole full break there.
Full break just happened there. Like, for example, when you're getting vitamins, literal vitamins at the store, you're not absorbing 100% of the vitamins that are in the vitamin capsules you get. Because if you've ever looked at the back of a vitamin label, it's like 100% of your recommended daily amount, blah, blah, blah. You're literally peeing it away. You're literally just pissing the vitamins out of you when it's that much more over what you need. Your body can only absorb so much in one day from one thing.
Yeah, you fucking ass kid.
You dumbass.
No, but she's right, because it's called bioavailability, and your body only absorbs certain amounts of things that is bioavailable. And when you have too much of something in your system, you either pee it out, or sometimes it pees out your butt. Vitamin C, specifically. You've never had a vitamin C overdose?
Pee out of your butt?
You get diarrhea if you vitamin C overdose.
I can't say if I've ever had a vitamin C overdose.
Go have like 20 oranges when you go home.
Okay.
So, well, actually, no. Don't do the oranges. Just go take the tablets. Just go take vitamin tablets. Yeah. Your body responds. Caffeine, same thing. You know, it'll just pee it out or try and get rid of it in some ways. But if you have too much of something in your system, your body will get rid of it.
Crazy how that happens.
Crazy how that happens.
Yeah.
All right. Cold brew. Cold brew. All right. So there's actually only really one way of doing cold brew or instant coffee, but there's different ways of getting the extraction. So extracting the coffee, a lot of the times what happens is that the coffee is brewed at a very, very low temperature, and it is usually brewed in massive giant percolators. In this phase, you could actually change things. You could do the percolators with like a lower temperature than boiling, or you could cold brew it. And if you cold brew it, usually it's gonna taste better, but you extract the coffee out of the you extract coffee with water when you are brewing it, and then you create a concentrated form. So reducing down the liquid so that it's kind of more sludgy or just like as concentrated of the coffee as possible. And usually that looks like, low heat, you're just boiling or you're simmering it, or even probably just simmering it, because I don't think you just leave it out and open it in a vat. But you leave it open, you let the water evaporate. And then lastly, there's two different ways of doing this part. You dry it. There is spray drying, which coffee is sprayed into a hot air chamber. And then as the tiny droplets of coffee are falling, it turns into a powdery substance of dry coffee. This method is usually very fast and economical, and it does end up to be a little bit more powdery than granular, so not kind of like sugary. But it does lose a lot of aromatic oils and flavors during the high temperature process.
Interesting.
Again, it's just the more heat you apply to it, the more it affects the flavor. Freeze drying. Freeze drying, some of you might know this, is you cool it all the way to like negative 40 degrees Celsius, turning it into coffee ice pretty much. And then the frozen coffee is placed in a drying chamber under a vacuum, and the ice sublimates, meaning it turns directly from solid to vapor, which is kind of crazy.
Wait, like it gets so cold that the ice...
So it's super cold,
right.
And then you take it and then you throw it into a drying chamber, and because it's in the drying chamber, like it's zero humidity, negative humidity almost, it sucks all of the moisture out. Like,
wow.
That's why if you use one of our instant coffee packs, which ours is freeze dried, if you touch it, it sticks because immediately it's getting moisture from your finger.
Oh.
And so it's like,
I've never poked it before.
Also, if you open it too, like it immediately sticks to like edges, especially if you're pouring it into hot water, because it has zero moisture. This coffee usually results in more flavor and aroma. And the granules are large, and they rehydrate quickly when hot water is added. So there's another additional process. It's called agglomeration, and I'm going to have to read from my notes on this one because it's not something I'm very familiar with. But for certain instant coffees that want to mimic the mouthfeel and the taste of freshly brewed coffee, the powder from the spray drying process that we had talked about undergoes agglomeration, which involves re-wetting the coffee with powdered particles so that they stick together a little bit more and turn into more of like granules. And it usually results in a better dissolving profile, and it's pleasingly aesthetic, which I don't know. I don't give a fuck. Like,
so all it does is make it look better?
Yes. It's market research. Probably Folgers did it, and they were like, oh, people didn't want to buy...
That's really dumb.
Yeah, people didn't want to buy this coffee because it looked too powdery. Probably. After drying, the instant coffee is then sealed either in jars, sacks, or cans to preserve its freshness. And then it is very critical to make sure that if you do have instant coffee, don't expose it to moisture. Ours is a cold brew method that is reduced down at very low heats, and then it is freeze dried.
Ours is the good stuff.
It's actually very good.
It actually tastes very good.
It's actually very good. It's the cold brew makes it taste amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah. Actually, I'm half wondering if maybe, oh no, we can't. We don't have enough. But I honestly think that the instant coffee that we have, and there's a few other people that have the exact same method as well. That method comes out with some of the best coffee.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. So, let's talk about our next episode.
That was such an aggressive throat clear.
It was actually kind of necessary. It's really in there. I'm sorry. I'm getting to an age where I'm making old man noises very aggressively and loudly. And then I also don't even realize how loud it is sometimes. All right. So, our coffee question, we're going to do something a little different. We're both going to make a Christmas latte. And we're going to have the barista on staff, who surprisingly isn't here yet.
Not here right now.
The barista on staff has to test it.
Yes.
And tell us which one they like more. That being said, there are some rules. The ingredients need to be easily available during the entire Christmas season. And if more than 70% of the population has to go get an ingredient, you're disqualified.
You're out. You're done.
You're done for. All right, and then my non-coffee question for Anne-Marie is, what is the worst snowstorm that Santa would have ever had to flown through?
Through. And my question for Eugene is, would Kevin survive Home Alone in a modern day retelling of the story?
Likelihood is very high.
Very high.
All right, that covers it. Again, if you guys enjoy this, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe. If you don't enjoy it, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe. And we appreciate you.
Yeah.
Let us know if you have any other topics that you want us to discuss.
Thank you.
Okay, bye.
Well, bye.